Hello everyone, this is Judith with another video. And today we're talking, right? We're talking. I want to talk to you about the twin flame journey, and I want to talk a little bit about my own experience and about some general things, maybe just what comes to mind, right? Because what we often come across on the journey is that we feel worthless. In fact, in the beginning of the journey, we don't realize this so much. Very often we then, after a while, tend to see those things in the other guy, right? We tend to see things like, well, he's too insecure to come forward, or he doesn't have so much self-esteem, or whatever it is, right? But that's it might be the same for your divine counterpart, but when you see this in him, then this are your things, right? Doesn't necessarily have to be the issues of the other person. Usually when you see it, it's kind of a projection, right? And then you start to project all of those insecurities and low self-esteem and fears on the other person, where in truth, that's you. And along the journey, you have to learn to own your stuff, right? And to also learn, and not only learn, it's on one part, it's becoming aware that you are worthy of love and that you are worthy of peace, right? And on the other hand, it's like seeing what is keeping you stuck in other places, right? Because those belief systems, they are like on the mental level, but it's much more than that. They involve so much more, right? And so if you have such a belief system going, or you could also say such a pattern, or however you want to label it, then this is doing its best to keep you where you have been forever, right? And does not allow you to rise up to a higher frequency, right? So yeah, and so we have to deal very often with this feeling unworthy of love, but it's, in my perspective, even more. So many of us, we have experienced something like being worthless, right? So there are various circumstances where this can be communicated to us. Of course, an unwanted pregnancy is something like that, right? But also if someone is like not really seeing you, right? So this is, of course, something that is communicated to you by your parents, but also by other people throughout your life. It can show up in many ways. And this is for sure something that is keeping you stuck, because you hold this belief system on various levels that you are not only not worthy, but that you are worthless. So when you have had the experience that you are worthless, this will for sure also show up in your financial life, right? This is all about receiving just for who you are and the gifts that you bring to the table. And as you know, everyone brings gifts to the table and brings just the talents, right, that you have. And mostly your parents, but also any abuse, right? If you have, for example, gone through abuse of whatever kind, could be emotional abuse or physical abuse, whatever it was, this is a clear communication that you are worthless, right? If someone was not considering your needs, that's also communicating that you are worthless, right? If someone was not considering and seeing your talents and not giving you the opportunity to live those talents. That's also like all of those like kind of neglected, when you were neglected or abused, all those things are communicating to you that you are worthless. So of course this happens with narcissistic parents, with but it can happen in many ways. It can also happen with parents that are not able to give you what you need and to provide what you need. Maybe they are ill, maybe they are maybe one parent is in jail, maybe parents are depressive or whatever. It can be so many neglectful and abusive circumstances. And then you get the message, because when you are with your parents, you always assume that this is love, right? What you are learning there is that all of those things are love. Or maybe you learn to behave in a certain way, and then you think that this is harmony. All the things that we experience with our family, we also link them to loyalty, right? We are loyal to our family members, or we see how, for example, mother and father are loyal to each other. And this can also be like learning that violence is loyalty, right? So we get very, very mixed messages to a certain degree. And so we are taking on those belief systems. And as you can imagine, this feeling worthless is a big block, right? And we have to resolve those things in order to align with our union. Because even when we say, I choose to align with my harmonious twin flame union, right? And this feels wonderful and this feels open. Then we still have those things going, and they are there for a reason. It's not just annoying, but it's also that those places where we are stuck, those places where we have blocks in the road, they are giving us the ability to go really high, right? Because you can only go as high as you go low, right? So if you have those deep, for example, abandonment issues or experiences of abuse, then this is what creates even more love, right? And gives you the ability to create that. So that some people say, and I don't know if I don't know about it, but it seems quite logic to me that we took on those issues even before birth. And I think that's a valid perspective, right? That we took on those issues before we were born, and we wanted to experience this profound love. We wanted to experience this profound peace, and not only to experience it, we wanted to create it in a new way that has not been here before, right? So we always want to go. We want to always go further, right? We always want to create something new. We don't want to do things that have already been in the history of mankind. We want to move forward. That's our interest. That's the soul's journey also, right? We want to expand, we want to grow, and that's what life is all about. And the twin flame union, this whole journey, gives us the opportunity to do this, and not only the opportunity to grow, but also the opportunity to heal, right? It's both. And so we when we hit rock bottom, right, with this feeling of being worthless, which is very often hidden from us, right? It takes some time, and it takes even like after we resolve issue after issue, we do not really go to the feeling of it, and we do not have to. That's the good news. So if you work with me, for example, there is no need in re-traumatizing yourself or something. It's just that we pinpoint the issue, and of course some feelings might come up, but usually like the relief when you work on the energetic release or transformation, or however you want to call it, then the process would be more that the energy would come out as a sigh, or would come out maybe as coughing, because this is your Shushuna here, your central energy channel, and there are various blocks, various things that are blocking the channel. So you would then sometimes release like this, or you would like burp, or you would even laughing is I've not seen that very often, but this also can also happen, or crying, but not crying in the sense that you are like re-traumatizing yourself or like going into the story, but just the energy comes out as the sadness, the sorrow, and the tears, right? That's the way that the energy is released, and then it's gone. It's that's how it goes. And in my perspective, you know, we want to move up, we want to move into this love, into this joy, and that's where we are meant to be, right? And those issues first, they need to be released, otherwise we cannot go up. And many of those issues, for example, this feeling of being worthless, that's not only you and the experience that you had in your childhood, but this is a broader issue, right? You could carry this, for example, on the level of your soul family. So this would be for all of you. So if you release it or transform it only for yourself, then it would persist, because you grow and you feel the issues of your soul family. So this issue would not be resolved. You have to go broader with the healing, right? Many people know this when it comes to ancestral patterns. And this is very, very common, that we take on ancestral patterns and we have to release them. And same with the soul family, right? And of course, there are also some issues that we took on for the collective. There's all kinds of things. There's historical trauma as well. There are also issues that have to do with the land where you live, the buildings maybe. So there's so many things to be considered, right, when it comes to clearing. And they all show up for a reason, because they want to go. Those things, they waited for you to be released, right? And that's why it never stops. So then when you, even when you're together with your twin flame, you will go on and on to just feel and own what you feel and release it. It becomes then a habit and a natural process, and is not so loaded with emotion and triggers anymore as it is in the beginning of the twin flame journey, of course, right? And we also have to learn what's the right perspective of this journey. And for sure, it's much more than a romantic love relationship. If we only see it as a romantic relationship, then in my perspective, we will never be there. It has to be looked at as a spiritual journey. And yeah, well, what else is there to say in relation to worthless? Yeah, there are also, of course, many thought patterns that keep us trapped. And I believe that these thought patterns are something that we can catch right away, right? That's something that you can change easily, even without booking a session with me or something. You can just catch yourself and realize, where am I having like this stinking thinking, right? Where can I change my perspective and see myself in the same way that the divine sees me. Divine loves you. And we very often also say, well, your twin flame loves you, right? Because this love is already there. So you have already, with your desire for this love, you have already created the love, right? It's already there. Now you have to allow this love to come to you. And that's what we have to do, right? And the issues have to go because they're blocking this love from coming to you. And that's the way how it goes, you know. This gives us the desire. The divine gives us this desire. And then we follow our path, our divine path. Yeah, and so that's maybe something that is good to know, that your desire is creating something, is creating your desire is already creating the thing that you want perfectly in every aspect, every detail, even the things that you don't know you want, right? Subconsciously, everything is there. And just this is also why we sometimes say your twin flame loves you. This doesn't mean that the other person is sitting somewhere and loving you consciously and wanting to be with you, because very often they are not, because they also in their life find excuses why they do not want to be with you, or why it's not possible to be with you. But on another level, this is already created, right? It's already there, and now you have to let it in. That's why I sometimes say you have to unlearn things, right? It's not about learning, but more than unlearning, right? Releasing and letting go and removing the blocks. Yeah, so you are worthy, right? And all the things that you have to face, they are a blessing in disguise, really, because they give you the opportunity to go very, very high, right? Gives you the opportunity to being this empath, right? To understand what people go through, what other people go through, and to love, to truly love, right? To be in love with life itself, really. To see love in through the eyes of the divine, really. What love really is, and how broad it is, and how free you are in this love, really, and how good all things are, and that everything that comes your way is meant for you. It's really amazing. Every block in the road shows you something that is specifically important for you. That's the way it is. And once you've realized this, and once you start like working with those things and taking them as opportunities, then your whole life changes. And the whole talk that I'm doing here is to help you see this more fully each and every day, and to be there, right? And to release doubt, for example, also, and to find a way to be more grateful for everything, really, for your twin flame, for the journey, for the really magnificent ways the universe finds to communicate to you, and to provide very specifically not only what you need to know, but also your needs, right? So whenever you're not getting what you want, then there is a specific reason for it. Otherwise, the universe would always give you what you want. It's already there for you. It's already created. Whatever it is, right? Yeah, so I hope this was helpful. Please send me an email if you want to receive my offers. And I'm also offering 15 minutes free spots for those who are interested in asking some questions or having like kind of a mini session with me. Please also apply via email. And if you want to clear the energy for you and your twin flame and more broadly, then you can also choose to click on the link below. I have created a free webinar. And you can subscribe and I'll send you the webinar. Good, that's all for today. I hope this was helpful. Leave a comment, like, subscribe, and I see you in the next video. Bye for now.